That's James's dinner. We're going to talk about The Apprentice and The Substance. And I have a lot of pots that I've cleaned today, and so that one, I didn't even get that one into the bath to get it cleaned. It just, I was trying to pull it across, pull it away from the others very gently, and it didn't work.
That's too bad. There's no way you could do anything with them. It's just would go in recycling. I suppose.
So I wanted to show that these are really, that they break apart easily. But something like when it's ripped like that, well, that's okay, because I can put it together with another one that's not ripped in the same spot, and that'll be all right. But I guess I should show you with my Victory Garden plants. Well, I can show you with any of these, I suppose. May as well grab this one because I can see some roots at the bottom. So anyway, this guy, you can see there's some roots coming now, and I don't have any divisions in here, so this is going to be tough to get these guys apart, and they have to come apart now because the roots are at the bottom of the pot, this container, and the container doesn't have any drainage, so I have to be very careful about how to water it. Which is good about these sort of things because they're divided, right? But what I could have done is just make my own little cardboard divider and I will be planting some tomatoes into this container with that divided like that. So that's always a possibility. So James was listening to The Apprentice while I was watching it, so I'm sure he'll have plenty to say. I don't know if you'll be able to see me behind all this stuff, but I was planning to get it dealt with today, and I didn't get that far. I ran out of steam for planting stuff, and I don't know, I didn't end up getting it done. That's okay. The pots got washed, they got bleached, and they got rinsed again, and then they fell on the deck. They got a little bit dirty again, but I'm sure they'll be fine. Anyway, The Apprentice. You can imagine that this is about Donald Trump, and at first when it came on, I saw the character that's obviously supposed to be Donald Trump at the beginning, and I was like, oh, come on, they got somebody that was too attractive to play Donald Trump. But
he was actually reasonably good looking. He did a
great job.
No, Trump was reasonably good looking way back when.
Okay.
Before he started becoming obese. You've seen pictures of him?
Yes, I have seen pictures of him.
This guy looks about the same level of looks and stuff like that.
If you think so. But anyway, he did a great job. At the end of the movie, the actor, he nailed him. The way he's acting, it's Trump. He got it.
They must have really aged him, eh?
Well,
he was playing Trump all the way up to now.
No, not up to now.
It's about the time that Roy Cohn died. Eh?
Yeah. And anyway, so this story, I guess they have him in gold here, and it sort of reminds me of some popular artwork that makes a lot of money, and you're knowing who I'm talking about right away. It looks just like it, so I think that's what they're going for there.
The successor to Andy Warhol.
Yeah. And anyway, if you don't know who I'm talking about, well, I've talked about him in the past, so you can look through some
Well,
old
there's way
videos
worse.
and
I mean, Pete
whatever.
Mondrian is way worse than
No, I'm really impressed.
Andy
I'm impressed
Warhol
with
was-
Andy Warhol too.
Oh, yeah?
Not as an artist. I'm
Okay.
impressed. Like they're talking about, like Donald Trump. They were talking about the art of the deal or something like that, right? And there's when people are really good at a specific thing. Like I think with Trump, it's more marketing, right? He's really good at marketing. And honestly,
not with business guys, but marketing himself to voters,
for sure,
certain
Excellent.
types of voters.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of his lines are meant to him by Putin.
Yeah.
But the days when he could snow people like lenders, long gone. Even traditional mafia lenders in the United States, long gone. It's just the Russian model.
Well,
And it's been that way for a long time. I'd say.
So I'm impressed with, in this movie, Andy Warhol, actually, there's a character playing Andy Warhol in here. And they don't say that that's who it is, but you know that's who it is. And he's asked what kind of art he does, and he said, whatever I can sell. You know, it's all about what you can sell, and it really is.
Well, for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, if you're an artist who is making a living doing art, you're a commercial artist. Plain and simple. That's what you are. So it's about how well you can sell yourself, how well you can market yourself, and therefore market your art.
But I'm perfectly within my rights to call your bluff. And just like I'm perfectly within my rights so far, until Pierre Poilievre starts taking over, doing the Trump thing up here, about Donald Trump and Pierre Poilievre and other flunkies like it. Same thing with that successor to Andy Warhol. I guess you don't want to mention his name.
You can if you want to.
What was his name? Jeff Koons or something like that?
I kind of wanted people to guess because I figured it out from the cover, and I wanted others to figure it out. But you know,
I can't remember which work that is. Is it like Michael Jackson with a monkey or something like that?
Oh, he has a lot of things that are like
that?
this sort of thing. But
I can kind of see that Michael Jackson
totally
and Donald Trump's the monkey.
Well, I don't know, but
well,
anyway,
he's kind of the way it's portrayed. He's kind of like a trained monkey. It's I can't see him being as shy and kind of withdrawn as he's portrayed.
No, I can't see that.
I think it was a piece of
work at the beginning. Yeah, so
it's just this guy fed him, made him even more so Ray Cohn.
I will say that this is an awesome movie. If you don't care about politics, Trump, whatever, you're gonna love this movie anyway. They did a great job. It's a great story. And when you're watching it, you might think, this is propaganda, and it is. But there's probably a lot of truth to it too. But one thing, I mean, he's in the movie. He says he's really impressed with Reagan and whatever. Oh yeah, Reagan. Yeah,
Donald Trump does a Ray Cohn.
Donald Trump says he's really impressed with Reagan, and he did make America great again. He used that, right? But
he used that, but he didn't make it.
No, he didn't make America great again. But he used the line, which is a great line, but it's a great campaign slogan.
Well,
but I don't think he would have been in support of Ronald Reagan back then. But maybe,
well, apparently up until quite recently, a card-carrying Democrat.
Then, yeah.
I mean,
down south. Here, where the left center is liberal, and there it's Democrat. But
well, the center is liberal. The
here.
Yeah, the left is NDP.
Well, I guess you could look at it that way, couldn't you?
It's the only way to look at it. The liberals can go either way. You know, like when the NDP looked as though they were going to just have a dynasty in Saskatchewan, the liberals united with the conservatives to make a conservative party.
Oh, interesting.
And I believe they did the same thing in BC. Maybe they united with the Social Credit Party or something.
Well, I don't really think about it that way, though. I
What do
think
you mean?
about the NDP as being the equivalent to the wild rose or whatever, and Conservative being the equivalent to the Liberals. But just on the different sides, right?
Well, it's just in Alberta.
Like opposites,
But
I guess.
that's just in Alberta. Generally, the right wing in Canada has been smarter than the left wing, at least in my lifetime. The Socreds kind of divided up the right wing, and it didn't really hurt them in Alberta until 1971. But the Socreds just died to death. Like they didn't split up the right wing vote. The Conservatives took that all over. But in my lifetime, it's a little bit before. The NDP has split up if we're looking at the political spectrum, you can see it kind of liberal, NDP, Green Party over on the left-hand side, and then just the Conservative Party over. It's one way you can look at it, but to a large extent, the Liberals are more like in the center. But the NDP has been going along, under Layton. I always want to call him Irving Layton, but I think his name's Jack Layton. He was wanting to wipe out the center and take over the Liberal Party, right? So there'd be the Greens out here, and then the Conservatives out here, and he was going to wipe out. Big trouble is, he'd have to move to the center.
And he didn't want to
Towards
do that.
the center.
Yeah.
No, it was his followers didn't. They're Puritans. NDPers are Puritans. And they were going, well, the electorate better come over to us. It doesn't work out that way, you stupid morons. You've actually got to appeal to people in the center. If you actually want to win elections. But this is left-wing pattern all around the world. Basically, England has been kind of pretty left-wing by comparison with Canada even. In my lifetime, but the ruling party has been conservative. When the Labour Party, the equivalent of the NDP party, got elected finally, after a long period under Margaret Thatcher and John Major of conservative leadership, the lefties can't stand Tony Blair because, he got elected. No, that's not right. They've got to drag the electorate over to the left wing. You don't go towards them. No way. Even if it means you don't win elections. Oh, we'll get out and demonstrate. Yeah, you're demonstrating your weakness, your ineffectuality. That's what you're demonstrating when you demonstrate after you lose an election.
Anyway, so watching this, I really felt sorry for Ivana Trump.
Well, it's portrayed that she gets raped in that. Is that this first one?
I wasn't going to give it away.
Okay.
But
well, sorry about that.
That's okay.
We obviously don't script this sort of stuff.
No, we do not. It's unscripted.
I gave the Kuntz thing away. I think she's wanting you to figure that out. Yeah.
Anyway.
You could say, not spoiler alert or something like that. I'm not going to spoiler alert here. So, yeah.
No,
Anyway.
I'm impressed with Jeff Koons because he does it better than
Andy Warhol.
Exactly, he does it better than anyone else.
Well, he actually does better
there's-
pieces than Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol stuff's garbage.
Yeah, neither one has really attractive art, but
The best thing Andy Warhol maybe did was a cover of Sticky Fingers, but it was just a fool.
Anyway, but yeah, I'm impressed because he sells himself and his art, better than he's really a skilled marketer. He's managed to do some impressive things, and I'm impressed with Donald Trump in that same way. He's managed to market himself. I mean, people will talk about, he's twittering and tweeting and going, he's having speeches where he's just talking nonsense. He's just going on and it's nonsense. And it's like, yeah, and you're reporting it. And he knows it, right? And so he manages to pull it off. Whatever he says, It's getting out there. It's just advertising. And
Well, he's a lot more
he
effective.
keeps his face and he keeps his voice in the media all the time. He's always there.
Yeah. He's not a great speech giver or stuff like that in the sense of, big long sentences and stuff like that. But he knows, it's argumentum, and this might be my original formulation, logical fallacy in logic, argumentum ad nauseum. He just keeps repeating stuff. It's a classic advertising technique. It's the sound bite that keeps on biting. Or really, with Trump and people like him, it's the sound chomp that keeps on chomping. And eventually, enough people hear it that really aren't in it, living, that is, in it for thinking for themselves. They just, that must be right. I keep on hearing it.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing that he does that's impressive.
So fake news.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime someone challenges him on it, that's fake news. Well, most of the time when he calls fake news, he is lying about it being fake news, and he's been caught lying. It's gotten so bad that people, like, what was it? David from...
Another thing I wanted to mention that he does that's really impressive. We were listening to this, I think it was the CBC a while back, maybe earlier this week or something like that. And it was talking about the tariff war prices, and apparently Donald Trump had said he was going to make, he was going to bring in some new tariffs on things, and he said that it was going to be reciprocal, and the person announcing that was just like, whatever that means, because Canada, we have been doing,
like, he punches you in the mouth and then he says it's reciprocal.
Yes, like he punches you punch him back, and then he punches you and says it's reciprocal, and it's like, no, you punched first. But,
well, actually, he was saying that basically before Canada did anything. Boom! Oh, it's reciprocal. Yeah.
So anyway, that's funny.
It
I
sounds like that kid's thing, but he really did start it. He started lots of things.
So I like the fact that he'll use other people's things that they say against him back as though he's thought of it, and then so people are remembering it and thinking, oh yeah, this is what Trump says, this is his, this is really his motto or whatever, and it's not. So
well, these lines are fed to him, he was talking about
I know, like
Hillary Clinton, lock her up. Do you remember that?
Yeah, well, I remember
that was started that was 2016 when they were doing it, but that started in 2011, and they were Paul Manafort was having supporters of the Russian puppet in Ukraine say about the woman who was running in that election against him, lock her up, lock one in Ukrainian.
Yeah. Well,
so that was 5 years old by that time. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm glad that you talk about stuff like that. It just might make me forget about where I was going, but that's okay, because I don't know as much about politics anyway. So it's probably better if you talk than I do.
Yeah, it's better to get a colloquy going, to use a fancy schmancy word.
Anyway, I guess, yeah, just watch the movie.
I'm hoping to watch it. They've got Roy Cohn here, who was, I think the guy was working with McCarthy way back when in the so-called witch hunts.
Yeah, that's what they said.
And working with Richard Nixon. And that would be dating back to maybe 1948 or something like that.
And well, the whole idea with this is that Trump is the apprentice to... Right?
Of course, like he's the monkey to Michael Jackson.
Really interesting.
And that's all he is. He's a monkey for Putin now. But you know, like he's been shaped by a lot of different things. I mean, the program, The Apprentice, was awesome. I was reading about a guy who was on it, who was a successful businessman, not someone who owed $4 billion plus to the Russian mafia, and he got fired. You're fired, whatever the idiot says. You're fired. He always squints his eyes as though that makes him smart or something like that. You're fired. Anyway, he was saying it really rubbed him the wrong way to have this guy who was a mob welfare bum firing him. You know, and people are just laughing. Wow, this guy's really freaking smart. He's a millionaire, billionaire. He's way, you know, the left wingers are saying he's poor, but he's really, really rich. And then they're saying he's really, really rich. He's not rich in the sense that, here's what Malcolm Forbes said, or one of the Forbes: nothing buys freedom like a buck. And the reason why capitalists love freedom or love bucks is they don't just buy their own freedom, they buy other people's freedom. Donald Trump doesn't have that. He's got lots of money to swim in, Russian mob money, but he has no power over other people, and he doesn't even have power over himself. And that includes his life, health, and his life, and the health and life of his near and dear ones. Because if he doesn't do what the Russian mob wants, and the Russian mob is controlled
Does
by
he really
God.
have near and dear ones? I suppose he likes his daughter, doesn't he?
Well, stuff like that. He's got, I think, more than one offspring. I don't know. Isn't there a Donald Trump Jr. or something like that?
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Something like that. And maybe he likes his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. And he does have a wife.
Yeah, okay.
She's a four-letter word, I suspect. But anyway, yeah, that looks somewhat like it in his youthful years. Trying to, you know, eyes kind of closed a little bit. It's gotten worse, you know. Like I'm squinting, I'm really seeing through everyone and everything. But I think they emphasize that, like, witch hunting and all that sort of stuff. In the initial stages, it wasn't witch hunting. They were going after nasty, nasty people. So they mentioned the Rosenbergs. They were sent to the electric chair, or they were executed somehow or another. From what I can tell, the husband deserved it, and I suspect the wife did. So they were saying, oh, there were 2-3 kids or stuff like that. If you've got kids, don't do treason. It's that simple. Don't do treason, especially when there's a death penalty involved. Now, I don't know how much damage the Rosenbergs did, but, you know, like, if you take a pot shot at someone and you miss it, or you just wound them, you know, like, you still got to have the law laid down on you. It's that simple. Yeah? So, you know, you'll have people saying, oh, the Rosenbergs didn't do that much damage. Alger Hiss, that's the guy that Richard Nixon supposedly witch hunted. He wasn't in a position to do much damage, but from what I can tell, he was trying to do damage. He's working for the Russians. So it's not a witch hunt when you actually are going after, well, see, like a witch really doesn't do damage, but when you're going after commies and you catch them, they're bad people. They're evil. 4-letter word, evil. Now understand, you know, there's a lot of cynicism out there on the left wing side of things. Oh, there's no such thing as evil. You like if Donald Trump says these people. Oh, that's evil. The way they react to it. Or using the N-word. That's evil to the left wingers. They don't like that word evil, but the act is so. There's all sorts of things that they're considering evil.
All right, so this one is about 2 hours long. Well worth it. It doesn't seem too long. The Substance, this is 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it does. They should have edited. I know they had some awesome special effects and they wanted to use them. They didn't want to have to cut them out. But honestly, this should have ended a lot earlier. They didn't have to have the whole... it didn't make sense with the second injection. After that point, it was frankly garbage. Up until then, it was great. So
You might find it a little bit gruesome, though. I kind of peeked in
totally.
on the
Yeah.
injection.
There, you have that with both of these. There's it looks real. There's this one. He's getting liposuction.
You mean like on the gut or
oh,
something?
so grody, right?
Yeah.
It looks totally real. And this one,
Did
there's...
he actually get liposuction? Oh, that's probably fake news, eh?
I don't know.
I'm sure he did.
But this one here, the substance, there's a lot of... It looks like medical, gory kind of stuff. It looks totally real. So, this is an instant body horror classic, and I guess that's pretty accurate. I don't know that it'll be a classic because the ending, honestly, they should have... They could re-release it and do some editing, and it could actually be a classic. Demi Moore looked amazing. So you're watching this, and at first I'm thinking, why would Demi Moore? Why this is not believable that she would go through this, this mystery procedure or whatever, because she looks amazing. Anybody would want to look like her. 20-year-olds would want to look like her right now, you know. And later on in the show, I'm thinking, no, it's totally believable.
Well, I just finished reading Cybernetics, right? And the guy who came up with that, what most of the thoughts were,
The
at
plastic
least been
surgeon?
original. He was a plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
I was talking about helping out people from his point of view who were in bad shape. But he was saying there were people who wanted to get fixed up, or no need for it. He didn't work on Michael Jackson, but he could have. Michael Jackson, after he had some plastic surgery, in 1983, he looked absolutely fantastic, but that wasn't enough. His dad used to call him Big Nose, and he had kind of a wide nose. Not his dad, but Michael Jackson. No, his dad did. It ended up where the nose was almost erased or eradicated. There are some people that way. And the plastic surgeon said he'd give people marvelous new faces, and they didn't see it. Their self-image was that screwed up. They didn't see the improvement. They thought they were still disfigured in one way or another. There are people that way, so I can't imagine Demi Moore being that way, but she's playing a role, and presumably she was convincing enough. Is that her then?
Yeah.
Is that recent?
Yeah. I know. She's a vampire.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like I'll give you the idea behind this movie. So Demi Moore is playing this fitness instructor who has her TV show, and people love her and everything, but she's gotten older and she's going to be replaced, right?